It's time once again for Talking Bible with the Brandons, the only podcast that proves a Tennessee fan and an Alabama fan can get along. Here's your host, Pastors Brandon Pugh and Brandon Carter.
Good morning, Bethel, and here we are Friday talking Bible with the Brandons here. And if you've been tuning in at all, you know we've been doing a week of wisdom here this week, and really we're going to continue with this theme here because yes, we're in a different book, 1 Kings chapters 11 through 12, but we see an opportunity to act wisely and a failure to do so here.
Big time.
So if you've already read in advance, you'll notice that Solomon is on the outs here, and he's served 40 years. I don't know if you could say faithfully as the king of Israel here, but here we see his heir and his son Rehoboam, and
Well, he started out well. Solomon did.
yeah.
And he doesn't go well because the Bible says in chapter 11, verse 1, King Solomon loved many foreign women along with the daughters
That'll get you in
of
trouble.
Pharaoh, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonian, and Hittites, all from the nations concerning which the Lord had said, do not marry them, because they will turn your heart away to other gods, and that's exactly what he did. So Solomon went, if you go back to chapter 3, verse 1, he went from marrying one foreigner to and worshiping God wholeheartedly in the wrong place, if you remember that,
Yeah.
to marrying many foreigners, worshiping the one true God, well, not worshiping the one true God in the right place, and having his heart wholly turned away from God.
Isn't he like building like places of sacrifice and
So there's for his wives, right? So there's a
for their
progression.
gods?
There's a progression that you see, and I just jotted down: the road to idolatry is paved with good intentions.
You betcha.
And has many compromising stops along the way.
What a depressing life. You start off by building the temple of Israel there for God there. And then the end of your life is characterized by you building a lot of false
places.
Yeah,
That's where you and he probably never dreamed he would do that. You never do, and then you end up in a place you never thought you would be. And I think Solomon knew that. If you read the book of Ecclesiastes,
how could he not? He was the wisest.
He understood
man in
at the
world.
end of his life what was like. How did I get here? Why?
Do you think he probably had to be one of the most depressed people in
I don't
the
know.
world?
Maybe.
Having the wisdom that he had and knowing kind of where his life was and what he had become. And
I don't know. Maybe so. But one of the things you were talking about is after he hands off the kingdom.
Yep.
He dies and God tears part of the kingdom from him. So this is where the nations split. The top 10 tribes will go to Jeroboam, who's
not a great guy either.
No. Well, we're going to, I think, get to that maybe. No, we won't. No, we won't.
Okay.
Well, it was just an interesting thing because God makes the same promise to Jeroboam that he made to David. He's like, I will give you a kingdom, and I will always put a son on the throne if you'll follow me. And Jeroboam is like, nope, not going to do that. Right. So anyway, they go that way. Rehoboam is actually the true heir, and he becomes the king of Jerusalem, Judah, the southern part.
Tribe of Benjamin, or
right.
Loyal to
and so basically, when he takes over, some people come to him, advisors, older men, and say to him, now, your dad taxed the people quite a bit. Why don't you let up on them and be a servant of the people? Okay. Speak good words to them and serve them. The younger advisors come over to Rehoboam and say, dude, lay it harder on them. Make them serve you. Tax them harder. Crush them, basically.
This was the counsel. They said, say this to them. I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined you with whips, but I will discipline you with scorpions. That's your advice?
That's right. My pinky is thicker than my father's thighs. I'm going to sit all over you. And so, of course, that didn't go over well.
No.
And what you see right there, number one, not taking the counsel of older people who are wiser. Number two, it's a misunderstanding of leadership. And so Rehoboam sees leadership as I'm going to use people to get them to serve me instead of serving people and letting them use me
as the true king would do.
As the King of Kings did.
That's right. That's right.
And so it reminded me of this clip from Braveheart that we're going to splice into this somehow, I think. Or we may try, where William Wallace basically tells the nobles of Scotland that you think your titles entitle you to use the people. And I think it means that you should serve the people, basically.
Can we put that in there right now? Can we do that?
You think the people of this country exist to provide you with position. I think your position exists to provide those people with freedom. And I go.
All right. See, that it's just it's a good,
powerful.
It is, and it's a powerful. You watch that whole scene, he really puts it into perspective that you can lose your way in what you're doing. So you, as a father, as a husband, or as a mom, in your house or in your place of work, if you're in leadership or anywhere, really, even if you're not in leadership, the idea is to serve people. Jesus said the greatest person among you is a servant. And so we are called not to use people for our purposes, but to be spent really in the service of others, which is what Jesus did for us through the cross. Mainly, that's what you see.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think really this whole week, it's been our week of wisdom. And wisdom isn't just constrained to the things that we think God cares about, going to church or doing my daily devotional or my prayer life. Like, wisdom is defined as skillful living, and that means in everything. So every day we are all presented with countless decisions to make.
Yeah.
And right here, I mean, this is a big decision to make right here. But I think the principle applies just not from the biggest decisions, but also to the seemingly small ones as well. And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, what we have to fall back on is what is going to glorify God most in this decision that I make. Is one of these, can I err on one side by seeking to glorify myself or to make much of myself? Or can I make a decision that seems to glorify God more or to serve others more? And I think at the end of the day, wisdom would always say that it's the latter over the former.
Well, and wisdom would say, it's not the wisdom of the world. The wisdom of the world, for example, in this case, would say, get people to serve you. Mm-hmm. Look out for yourself. That's what will really make you happy. And in the end, actually, it makes you miserable.
That's right.
And so serving others in the end is what actually leads to your deeper joy. And do you trust God in that or not? And if you do, you will serve others. And if you don't, you'll serve yourself.
Would you say that seeking to serve yourself is maybe a symptom of a lack of faith? So
sure.
I think what you said there, you're not trusting God.
That's right.
So it's like, I've got to take it upon myself to do these things in my life that's going to bring me happiness, and not trust that the Lord's going to do that.
I've got to provide for myself. I've got to make sure people like me. Mm-hmm. I've got to make sure I'm taken care of, instead of trusting the Lord to do that. And it's just like, I don't believe what God says. Jesus said, the greatest among you is the servant. If you don't serve, then you're saying, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I don't believe what he just said is true.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, all right, gang. We're going to wrap this one up a little bit shorter today here. We're giving you a lot.
It's Friday.
To
We
chew
got to get
on.
an early
That's
start on the
right,
weekend.
Guys. Yeah, it's party time here at Bethel. So we love you guys. Been a real joy kind of doing the week of wisdom with y'all. And then next week, we're going to be right back in the saddle. First Kings.
16, 17.
Going to get to see a little bit of Elijah here coming up, and just the prophets of Baal and our God putting them to shame, which I love that.
It's a great story.
I love it. So that's what we got coming for you next week. Make sure you're reading in advance for Monday, 1 Kings 16 and 17. We look forward to seeing you guys Sunday. We'll be here worshiping without you, whether you're there in spirit with us on the internet or here with us in person. Looking forward to that time. But until then, we'll see y'all later.
Thanks for listening to the Bible with the Brandons. Be sure to like our page on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search for Bethel Baptist RC. You can also get updates at our website at www.bethelnow.net. Thanks again for listening.